All right, we are live. What is up, everybody? We are recording this. You all have to be informed. We are being recorded. RST Best Practices training. What's up? Welcome. Let's go. Time is here. Let's study money. This is for entertainment purposes, not educational purposes. We don't know what we're doing. We're not financial advisors. Don't buy anything we tell you to buy. Don't sell anything we tell you to sell. You should keep all your money out of the stock market. It's volatile and terrible, and you'll lose it all. Hi, everybody. Let me switch over to the stream with the video. We're going to start off with the first motivational video. As always, Sharp, post me the videos, and I got them here. Oh, I got your video that you sent me, Dragon, and it's a little long and doesn't have music, but I really like it, and I want to put it somewhere. Like, I want to, like, watch it and feature it somewhere, because I like it.
Okay, awesome.
But Char's like, it doesn't have music and it's a little long and we need like hype, but she likes it too. So it's definitely something that,
like, I mean, I figured I loved it, but I just didn't.
It's really
like
good.
that it didn't have music. Right. I was like, he had to pump you up and motivate you, but what he said, it touched me.
Yeah, his message is on point.
Yeah.
You guys let me know when I press play if you can't hear it, because that means something is wrong. I'm pressing play.
The sun doesn't shine every day. The storms will come. There are times when the nights will be long and dark and you will be alone. There will be times when the darkness seems to consume everything. But don't let it consume you.
Sometimes you're barely making any progress. Sometimes you're barely making any progress at all. And that tough situation is making you want to stop. And what you eventually learn is you can't stop. When you're going through tough situations, you got to take that next step. You got to keep moving forward. And I know we're going through a pretty tough situation right now in a lot of different ways. Take that next step. Keep moving forward.
And the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Every day, get up, take that step, and start walking. Even in the darkest times, even in the strongest storms, even when the sun is blotted out and the world is falling apart, the darkness cannot extinguish your light. Your will, your determination, no matter what is happening, no matter how hard the fight is, as long as you keep fighting, you win. Only surrender is defeat. Only quitting is the end. Because the darkness only wins if you let it. Do not let the darkness win. Fight. Fight on. To fight against the darkness is to win. So fight on.
Life is full of pain. It's everywhere. The pain of defeat, the pain of being disappointed, the pain of losing, the pain of failure, the pain of being criticized, the pain of not being liked, the pain. That's called life. But guess what? There's no gain without pain.
There's going to be things that go on that are out of your control. The worst thing you can do is let something that's out of your control control you. Get control of yourself, get control of your emotions. Don't get angry, don't get frustrated. Instead, stay calm and figure out how to move forward.
You are closer than what you think. You close, and the devil done told you, just get a divorce. You close, hold on. You close. You about to drop out. You gone too far now. You ain't got but 2 credits. Hold on. You 3 kids in. You can't quit now. Hold on.
But this is my 6th time taking it. You gonna pass on the 7th. Hold on. But you better get something from all that hell you've been through. I'm talking to somebody. You ought to get excited. You are 100 yards away. You are 100 yards away. You can see it in the distance. You can see it in the distance. You close, boo. Don't give up now. You close, my brother. Hold on. I don't need you thinking about it no more. You're doing too much thinking. You analyze it too much. You talking yourself out of it. I don't know if this gonna work. I tried and it didn't work. I just need you to keep moving. I need you to make up in your mind that the only way you can lose is if you quit. And I just need you to keep going. Don't allow that inner doubt in you to tell you why you're not good enough. You ignore that inner voice and all of the external voices. Don't judge the possibilities for what you can do based upon the circumstances, because the circumstances won't determine who you are. Doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. Doesn't matter how much money you've lost. In fact, I see it only as an investment, what you learn from life. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. You stop when you complete it, when you execute it. This is where you start separating the successful from the unsuccessful. Just because it says trial on the package, or tribulation on the package, or pain on the package, it don't mean it ain't a blessing inside, and most of you turn around when you see pain. But those of us who had a right perspective, we approach it when it say pain. When we see trial, tribulation, we don't give up or give in. We know the blessing is on the inside. We don't give up. We don't surrender. We don't quit. We see differently. Our perspective is different. And because our perspective is different, our outcomes are different. Our rewards are different.
Yo, I like that video, man. I always say that, but it's true.
I think some of us needed that tonight, right?
Yeah,
How's
good.
everyone doing? Hello, RST.
Hello.
Thanks, guys, for joining.
Video.
Yes, it was a really good video. I am super drained today. I'm really tired because last night I didn't sleep, and then all day I've been working, and then all day I've been working. It's just been nonstop, 24/7, and then I had to deal with the LTNC drama, speak to my lawyer. I mean, it's just unreal. So, are there people in here still invested in LTNC?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So let me just put this out there. So you guys know that Takeover Management, late last year, like around November, I believe it was, they found out that Mike Holly, one of the founders, was embezzling money and stealing money and yada yada. So they put a lawsuit in California, but they decided to withdraw that lawsuit and dismiss it and move it to Arizona because that's where Mike Holly lives and it's easier, and they could add his wife and go after his assets like his house and things like that. So they did that, I believe, last week, and Mike Holly responded. Him and his lawyers responded with a motion, a rebuttal to take over his claims, and they're very smart people, and they decided to put in there that they knew that, obviously anything that you do in the federal court system is public information, and they know that, shareholders are going to be reading this mess, right? So we want to know everything. So we're reading this mess, and they knew that this is the way to do it. So what they did was they were very clever. Got to give it to them. They drafted up this lawsuit rebuttal, a motion to the lawsuit, and basically put in there that audit, the PC AOB audit is basically not getting audited and all this stuff. But we know that the PCAOB people are a governing body. They're not the ones who's actually doing the audit. So they were very tricky in doing that. But obviously we're dealing with OTC, and people in the OTC world are totally a different caliber of people trading stocks. And they don't know what the hell they're reading, and they come to their own conclusions. There was stuff posted today all over Twitter, snippets of the lawsuit, just like one page. And they ran with the narrative. Some of our ex-members decided to run with the narrative, which is really hurtful because, you know, a lot of us are still in the stock, and, you know, you think these are your trading friends and things like that. And you're just like, what the hell? So, anyway, so that's what happened. I didn't know any of this was happening because I was trading. I was in Bentley training twice today. I had a really good day. A lot of my things on my watch list went through the roof. And you know, I'm just making money and enjoying life, and still tired, but you know, I love what I do. So that's why I wake up and show up every day. So anyway, so that's all. That was what's happening, and that took all of my time after 4 p.m. So I've been dealing with that kind of crap and dealing with the LTNC Discord, and it's just been a drama. Like, the stock is just full of drama, and you would think that a company that puts an internal lawsuit on one of their founders is about their business. I mean, they could have just literally swiped this under the rug and kept the shit going. But Jason's really trying to clean up the mess. And I believe that he still is going to clean up the mess. We're still in the process of doing the audit with the governing body, I always say it wrong, PCAOB audit. Please read up on it. It takes you straight to the OTCQB world, which is the top tier. As you guys know, Pink Current is the last tier, and the way to get Pink Current is that you don't need unaudited. You don't need audited financials. You just give them unaudited financials from an accounting firm, and then a lawyer attorney letter accompanied by that. You send it to the OTC markets. They approve it and they sign off on it, and that's what they were going to do with what's his name, Ryan, but Ryan couldn't give them all those 11 items that they needed. So you know, I remember Joe last year tweeted that they were going to do the same audit, and people were like, well, they were doing this last year in May. Yeah, they were doing it for LTNC, and they couldn't get it done because they couldn't provide all of those things. That's why we're here today, and they're doing a spinoff. So they're doing a spinoff with this audit that will take us to the second tier, which is the high. There's 3 tiers. This is the second tier. The third tier is OTC XQ or QX or whatever. And that's basically like for companies that are global and overseas, and they want to trade on the OTC market here in the United States. So this is the, you know, so they're doing that. And so, you know, it's like Pablo was on here last week, and he taught us a lot about OTCs. And that's the thing. You got to continue to do your DD with these types of stuff. You got to continue to read the filings and things of that nature and keep up with what's happening. If you go on Twitter to get your information, you're going to be very disappointed because there's all kinds of crazy crap on there.
Yeah, I never go to Twitter for my information.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about that? I know there's like investors in here. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with what everything that's going on with that stock.
I have not been keeping up with it, but, you know, I check on it occasionally. Trying to keep up with it bothers me.
Right. It's a lot.
It's a lot. All right. What do we, do we not have guest speaker? He's not coming.
Mike, did you have something to say?
Nope. No, I was just gonna say I'm just trying to stay positive and not really following all that shit that goes on with.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, what can we do? You know, we can't even trade the stock.
Right.
If we wanted to, we're like in a standstill. So what's the point of worrying about it?
That's what I was gonna say when you said, is anybody here still invested in LTNC? I was gonna say I don't have a choice really. So yeah.
Jason Tucker is a very smart man. He is educated. He is he has his own companies. He's brilliant. He just won a $36 million lawsuit that took him 4 years for one of his clients. And and I trust him. I mean, I don't, the rest of those people in there, I don't know, but like him, I do. And I know that he's gonna do it right. He's not gonna sit there and tweet stuff, and they're not gonna tweet on their company profile page that they're in the middle of a PCAOB audit if they're lying, because that's they could face a lot of legal ramifications for stuff like that. So these people on Twitter that are causing FUD and creating drama, they just need to really watch out because they're messing with the wrong group of people. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Let's talk about our week. Anyone want to share some of your strengths, some of your wins and strengths that you felt that you did really well on, or something that you made a mistake on that you want to talk about? And then we'll go into charting.
I'll start.
Okay, cool.
I haven't made any trades this week at all. I just have what I have, and what I've been doing really is just waking up and trying to keep an organized process and find the right plays. And I test that by finding a play and then charting it all day and acting as if I would play it, paper trading it, but not with an account, literally with pen and paper. And I've been pretty on point with all my levels. If I had played my plays, I would have made some money. So I feel good about that.
Wow, that's awesome. That right there is what a good trader does. Someone that really wants this life. You know what I mean? Because you sit there and you're like, okay, you know what? I can't trade right now, but what I'll do is I'll still wake up and show up every day, and I'll still put in the work. Good job.
And I could trade, but I feel like what I need is to slow down and reset and spend a week not trading and instead just watching. It's been a long time since I just didn't trade, and it feels good to sort of step back and regroup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also building your confidence, right? Seeing where you would have
Right.
made money if you followed your plan.
Exactly. Who's next? Someone tell me how good your week is.
I'm going to share. So, well, for me, as you guys know, like it's a little difficult to manage like working and trading at the same time. So today I actually made a mistake. I got called by my boss, and I was trading HYMC, I believe that's the name. And I bought it like at 260. And I was like, okay, the volume looks good. Everything's looking good. I'm not gonna worry about it. So I stopped taking a look at it because I was in a meeting with my boss. And then it just completely got shorted. And I was like, oh man.
No. Are you serious?
So I try to average down a little bit. So I'm at 222 right now. It seems like it's going back up, but yes, I made a mistake with that. I feel like I should focus more on creating stops, because I didn't do that today, and that's what messed me up. So
I just saw a tweet actually. The tweet was it's relevant to what you just said. It's let me read it. Paying attention to red flags in a relationship is risk management. Reading the contracts you sign instead of taking someone's word is risk management. Not speeding and running red lights is risk management. Staying healthy is risk management. Using a stop loss is
risk management.
There you go. I was like, all right.
I like it.
Post that
and
in
I did it.
post that in our Discord so I could put that in my journal.
All right, I will post it right now.
And I did it, and you know what? I had the most beautiful chart of that stock. It's just that I got that car and I completely switched gears and I focused on my job for like, I would say 10, 15 minutes. And then that's when I noticed it was like already like at 194.
It's like the
like,
universe,
oh
bro, is pulling at your brain, and it's like, hey, pick one. You're gonna make a lot of money in this one, but this one's calling you now. You gotta pick one. It's like it's fucking with you.
Yeah, and you know what? No, that was for me. I took it as a lesson. I was beating myself up all day about it. I was like, I should have done this and I should have done that. And that's part of like trading and that's part of learning. And hopefully tomorrow it will manage to get back up there because it's in a uptrend again. So we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, as long as you learn from it, there is no such thing as losing, as winning or learning. You only lose if you don't learn shit.
Yep. Otherwise, Mullen has been good. I sold 600 shares at like 180 and I bought in at 112.
Nice.
So I was happy about that. And what else? Oh, and I bought back in like 200 shares at 161. So my new average is like 136. So I'm still good and I'm happy about like what's going on with it. So see what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna pull up the chart.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's at 160 right now.
Yep. So I like it. And it's been following that like pattern. So you see it has that big green candle, then it goes down, and then it just goes back up.
What it needs, let's see right now. I think, in my opinion, it needs to break over 169 in the morning, and then it'll hold. If it holds, it'll go a little bit. See, 6-9 is always a key level. If you look right here, where these two candles line up, it's almost perfectly on 169, and it's 170, of course. But if you look at many different charts, you'll see like there's a level at 150, there's a level at 160, there's a level at 169, there's a level at 180, there's a level at 190. People make sure, like 6-9 and 420 are always levels in everything. It's stupid, but it's true
Yeah.
because people are that's all trading is what are traders doing, and those numbers are obviously common all over FinTwit and whatnot. 6-9 and 420 are always key levels.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm just holding and
So
like
okay, question.
whenever it goes up, I'll sell like 200 and so on and so on.
What
That's
what what if it goes down? What's your stop loss? What's your tolerance right now? What are you willing to lose on this? You said your new average is 161.
no, my new average is 136.
Oh, GG. So you're so
Yeah, so
so you can set a stop literally. Alexa, shut up. You can set a stop if you can just watch it and play a mental stop. And when you're no longer able to watch it, just make sure
Oh
you
my God.
set a stop for above your profit level.
When you said Alexa, shut up, my Alexa said, excuse me.
That's funny.
Okay.
At eight o'clock,
Like,
at
yeah.
whatever 8:30, she's always like, "It's challenge time. Let's play a game." I'm like, "Shut up, get out of here."
I know Farm Trader was in Mulin with me. I don't know if anybody else was. Um otherwise
I think Alpha Stocks is in that Mulan.
otherwise I wanted to ask, is Embar here? Because he's like an amazing trader. I want to learn from him.
Isn't
He's
he?
been
He's a
calling.
great trader.
Yeah,
Inbar.
I was actually gonna ask Shar if we could do this on like a Saturday morning or something and have Inbar on.
Okay, Inbar lives in
Well,
Israel.
he's like somewhere, right? So it's like his.
He lives in Israel. Inbar's in Israel. And so the time there in Jerusalem is blah blah blah. So we have to set up a special training for him to come in and talk to us, and I'm sure he would love to do that.
Does he have like a momentum like scanner? I believe he
Yeah,
does.
he
Definitely
has
has scanners.
yeah.
I mean, but
It,
look,
what time is it?
think about it like this. Right now, Inbar
It's 4
is
a.m. in the
he is
morning.
he's a wonderful trader. He's a wonderful resource, and he's a good friend to all of us. And if he has tools that we don't have at the moment, we can at the very least learn from him bit by bit. You know what I mean? And that goes for any of us here. Like all of you have access. All of us use different tools, and we all see things from a different angle. You know, so like
Yeah.
if you just take that all the information in and assess things, you'll find out which scanners work for you and what you want to scan for. But Inbar is definitely somebody I want to ask
I
a
wake
bunch of
up
questions to.
for the last
Yeah.
three,
Me too.
the last three and ever since I met him on Twitter, and got to know him, I wake up every day at 4 o'clock Eastern. Well, sometimes I don't even sleep. I just stay up at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I trade with him. I can't trade with him because my broker doesn't open till 7, but I paper trade with him in the mornings, and it's really helped me. And you know, he's awesome. I call him Mr. Wall Street for a reason. And I know a lot of great people in Wall Street, but I call him Mr. Wall Street for a very good reason, and that's because he is really on point. He can see things before any of us do. You know, he can see the charts before any of us do.
That's why I
And
call
he
him
has that.
the
Yeah,
Terminator, because he's from the future.
yeah.
Like
He's really that good.
he's been having amazing picks. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is the guy that I need to learn
That's
from so I can
it's
start doing
normal.
everything.
You know, he's been trading for a while. It's normal. That's just, you know, it's just crazy. And like, you know, you would think that he should have like 500,000 followers.
You know what I
But
love about him is he's a fucking bull. And I know it's like, oh, you gotta be smart. You gotta play both sides of the market. You know what I mean?
right.
He shouldn't
No,
just
he's
be a bull. He
great
shouldn't
bull.
just be a bear. But I love him because I am just a
Yep.
bull. I'm just a bull.
Yep.
I fucking hate being bearish. I hate feeling bearish. I'm pessimistic, but I'm a bull. And when I see him, he's like, the fucking market's bullish. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's trade, buddy. I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's
He's
awesome.
he's inspirational as fuck. Bulls are more fun.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's really a great guy, and we're just blessed to have him part of our daily here at RST.
Yo, honestly,
He's one of the best connections I made on Twitter. Well,
I'm gonna go
besides you.
move to Jerusalem for a little bit so I can learn how to trade from him. Be like, train me, educate me.
That's how you know
That
you
would be
want
nice.
it. Because you're like, hey, can I move to Jerusalem just for a minute?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how you know you want it.
Anybody else
if
want to
that-
share your weeks with us? Did you guys have a good week? I know, Mike, you've been working a lot.
Yeah, I haven't traded. Like in the last 2 weeks, I've been doing nothing but working.
Oh, wow. Your work's got you busy, huh?
Yeah.
Is it because of all the stuff that's happening?
No, I've just been busy.
Okay.
Yeah, that hasn't really affected me.
Lori's shy, but she's been trading with me all week doing the same thing I've been doing.
We're going to try to break Lori out of her shyness.
Hi.
We're cool.
There she is.
Hello.
Thank you, Stock. Good. How are you?
Good.
Stocks has been helping me this week with key
Nice.
levels. Yeah.
Trying to find levels.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Big help. Big help.
That's
Stock
awesome.
is this. Hold on.
So
See,
it's about
Oh,
how to
Muley?
navigate this market, right? Like we've been dealing with a lot of crazy volatility. Did you guys see how like the SPY like spiked and the Dow Jones was like rallying this afternoon and we didn't even know why? Like it was like
shit's
almost
weird.
800 points. Yeah. It was
Everything's
almost like it
weird.
was rigged or something. Like we were in Bentley trading and we were like, what's happening? Nothing's happening, but like there's the SPY is like going crazy. It's just odd.
Yeah, see, I haven't been winning much. I haven't been trading much. I've won some, but I haven't been winning much. But at the same time, I feel like I'm such a better trader than I was when I was winning. So I know it's coming. I'm like way better than I used to be, but I have much less money. Weird, right?
Yeah. Anybody else have anything positive? I'll tell you guys my story. So on Thursday night, I was really excited about 2 ERs that were going to drop, XCLA and LGVN.
Yeah.
So I did all this DD and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be good. You know, LGVN, their float's like 2 million. That thing's going to go back to $45 like it did in November. It went from $3 to $45 in a couple of hours. We're going to have a parabolic move and this and that. They have this orphan destination drug. for heart conditions for babies, and it's like one of a kind, and it already got the FDA. It's going through the FDA. I think it already got the FDA approvals and all this stuff. So I'm all excited. And then I'm looking, and then I'm doing my DD, and then and then Alpha Stocks is like, I don't think it's going to do well. I mean, have you looked at the level 2s? And I'm like, I don't really pay attention to that. I need to probably pay more attention to that than the charting. And then it just hit me like, oh my God, the shorts didn't cover tonight. So that means it's going to be bad in the morning. And then I woke up at 4 and I saw that it didn't even move. It's like negative like 4%. And my investment, just down. Right. And the whole day I was so pissed. I was just like, I suck at this. I'm just going to go take a break. And I just called it quits. And I'm like, if this continues to happen, I'm not going to be able to trade. And I just can't keep affording to lose money and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm just all depressed and sad and just whatever. So then the whole day Friday, I just, didn't talk to anyone. I just, was in my misery. So then my friend calls me and he's like, I'm flying from Miami and I want to see you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Well, I don't really feel like having any company. I don't feel like doing anything. But anyway, he forced me to go watch the movie Batman and, go out to dinner. And then we decided to go to the casino. And I'm like, I always like being around people because I'm a people person and I love my friends. And the next thing you know, I won all this money at the casino. I'm sure some of you guys saw it. And it was just unreal. So it got my mojo back. And then coming into Monday trading, I did really well yesterday and today. So, even though things happen, like we got to snap out of it. We got to find our happiness again. And that's what it's all about. And talk to people and help us get through things. So that was my pit and peak of these last 4 days.
That's awesome. I mean, just having that support of like not even expected, but you had that friend that just came through and helped you get out of that momentary moment of like sadness.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's nice. Like
Because
that was me today. I was like, oh, I was beating myself up, like, because I hated
yeah,
what happened.
Yep. And, we do beat ourselves up. And it's okay to beat ourselves up, but we just can't stay in that state because then we get angry and resentment and we start doubting ourselves. And this trading stuff is very emotional. Like, I know they say keep emotions out of it, but when you're dealing with your money and your hard-earned money and you're down, it's very hard, and then you're trying to like help everybody else and do everything, and it's a lot, and then you don't I talk to you guys more than I talk to my whole family.
That's why they say keep the emotions out of it though, because it's hard and everybody knows that it's hard, and everybody, like, you have to feel those emotions at some point. You can't just bottle them up. But while you're trading, you can't, because you'll make the bad choices during that trade. Like, if I go look at my trade and I'm down $1,000 and I just start panicking or whatever, that's not good. I'm emotional and I'm going to make a bad choice, whether it's selling, buying more, who knows. But I can, if I lose it all, I'm, go when the day's over, go cry it out. Feel those fucking, feel it, because you're gonna feel it. But don't bring them into your trading, because you'll make bad choices.
You have to be a robot. Trade like a robot.
Yep.
Yeah, you really do. And you got to make those decisions quickly. I forgot what trade it was, but I was down and I was like, oh my God, I just have to average. I threw in more money and I averaged down and I got the hell up out of that trade. And it
Sometimes
felt
you
good.
gotta do that.
Yep.
And I mean, for me, that's probably what I'm gonna do like tomorrow if it manages somehow to get to like 222. Like I'm just
Why
gonna
is the
get the
stock
hell out there.
moving? Why was the stock moving anyway? Did it have news?
AMC is gonna buy like 22%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, see,
All
the
right.
real reason, I mean, the not real reason that it moved is because on Sunday night, MULN was literally on every single Twitter page who trades. It was gonna move even if there was no news, because every trader was like, "I'm buying Moon. I'm getting in." You know what I mean? So
Oh
if they're
no, no, I was talking about
oh,
HYMC,
Yeah,
but
he's talking about another stock.
let me
yeah.
look it
that
up.
also had a lot of volume. The problem with this is why I don't touch stocks like this. Dragon, my personal thing is that when I see volume at like half a billion and the stock's moving sideways all day, I just don't trust it. The reason is because I was in CEI, and thank God I sold it at like 430 before it went to like 485 and collapsed on everyone. I saw it happening, and I remember that day the stock was at like 800 million trades. The volume, it was ridiculous. It was like all of FinTwit and their mama and baby mamas and their baby daddies were all in the stock, and you just don't know what the other trader is going to do. So someone like you who has a small amount of shares, you're competing with someone that has millions and millions of shares in the stock. And let's say they are good because they're making, for every penny it goes up, they're making what? $1,000 because they have a million shares. Then they made 20, 30 grand because it went up 30 cents. They're gonna dump their shares, and
Yeah.
you don't know when that's going to happen, you know and it's very risky and volatile. So, and when you're in a trade like this with that type of volume, you have to put stop losses, trailing stop losses. I mean, it's a must, because to you don't want to lose your profits and then be down. If you have a really low average, that's awesome. And, obviously you don't want to sell because like the potential of it getting pumped to like $2, $3. But you also don't want to lose your profits on your way up, because what you could have done was you could have sold it at $2, taken your profit, and went back in today when it was down like 6% or whatever when it opened, and bought it back at $1.50, because your average was like $1.20, right? $1.20. So that's like a what, 30
Yeah.
cents difference, right? So
Yeah.
you could have went back and bought back your 600 shares at $1.50. It would have cost you a little bit more, but you already made your money from $1.20 to $2.
Yeah. And you're right. And
And
the thing is,
that is how you stack your account, and that is how you build your account faster. It's compounding. So if you had, your average is 120, right? Let me tell you the difference in price. So $1.20 times that by 600 shares, that's $720 you put in. So now 600 shares times that by $2. Let's say you sold it at $2 on Monday. That's
1200.
$1,200 minus 750, which is your initial investment. So you made 450. Then you went back and bought it today. 700 shares times that by $1.50. Hold on, 700 shares times that by $1.50. It would have cost you $1,000. And then what did it go to today?
I think like 196.
Okay, so
HYMC.
Oh,
no,
not
Mulan.
HYMC.
We're talking about
We're
Mulan. So
Oh,
Hold on.
seven
y'all
hundred
just
times
swapping
that
back and
by
forth.
$1.96. That's 300. So now you would have made 807. So 450 plus 372. You would have made altogether $822 in 2 days.
Yes and no. The reason why is because I have that account and I can't day trade
Oh,
like every
okay.
single day. So
Yeah.
the way that I have to do it is I have a cash account on Webull. So
Uh-huh.
like I have to wait like
You have to wait for the
wait
money
for
to
the
clear.
T2 rule to apply. So it's like I can only like trade every 2 days because that's how long it takes for the cash to settle.
Yep.
Unless I do options,
Or
which I
unless you do 2 accounts. So you can do 2 cash accounts and you can split up your money.
Yeah,
that
that's what I
too.
do. I have TD Ameritrade. I have one margin account and one cash account.
Okay. Honestly, I didn't think about that.
Weevil does the same, right? So
I mean, this is not financial advice. It's just friendly advice. I mean, you know,
yeah,
to
exactly.
It's just
compound and
something to consider.
yeah, to
Yeah,
take your
no,
gains.
definitely something to consider.
Yep.
'Cause,
Hey,
I mean,
I make the same mistakes too. Like AGRI, I bought it at 3. It dipped to like 390 something in pre-market this morning, and it shot up to $4.36 at opening. And I did not freaking sell it. I'm an idiot, and I still did. I and then I saw it go to 417 and go all the way down. I didn't sell it. Then it went below my. It went below my freaking average. And I was like, oh my God. And then I had to wait like 3 hours for it to go back over $4 for me to just take a little bit of profit, because it never went back to $4.36, which was the high of the day, which was the opening market. So we all make the mistake, you know. The goal is to be green on all your trades, you know.
Yeah,
And
like-
whether it's taking $1, a penny, or whatever, take the profits.
Just boil it down in your brain, like when you look at all your trades and everything you got going on and all this confusing shit that's all over all the monitors and screens that you use, just stop and say, my goal is to sell this thing green. And that's the bottom line. Don't enter a trade until you have a plan, a price target, a stop loss in mind. You know what I mean? Like
I
plan
treat
it
all
out.
I treat all my trades as a business transaction. So you know, but we all make mistakes. I mean, we forget our rules, you know. I forgot my
Right.
rule this morning because I was distracted at too many things. I'm like, oh, it's gonna go, because I remember yesterday on Monday I played the same exact stock, same exact time frame. I bought it in the opening and in the morning flush or whatever. Yesterday I didn't buy it in pre-market. I bought it in the opening. And the flush, and it shot up, it halted, and it went through the roof. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna do the same thing today, and it did not. So, you know, you just have to remember. And I wasted 3 hours watching this chart, and I hate watching charts that long. Like, I am a momentum day trader, so for me to sit there and watch something for 3 hours, from 9:30, and it finally, I think at 11:30 is when it went back to like $4.12, and that's when I sold it. It was just too long for me.
Right.
You know.
yeah. And
I mean,
honestly,
thank God the market was slow today in the morning, because if Inbar was calling all this other stuff, I would have been pissed, because I could have been making more money, you know, if I just sold it within 5 minutes of me buying it.
and Nimbar, like I mean, he seems to be extremely active on Twitter. So I was looking at his plays, and he was like calling like play after play, and I was like, darn it! And I got in this play, and it didn't work out for me, and everybody's making money everywhere else. So
You gotta
Exactly.
remember, Inbar doesn't like to post his calls on Twitter first. If he's posting something on Twitter, it's in his chat first, and maybe in RST first if we're lucky. But if he's posting it on Twitter, be careful, because it's probably already on the move a little bit.
yeah,
And he's not a pumper.
yeah,
He's
and
just telling you that his plays are moving. You know what I'm saying? If you're in,
yeah,
you're in.
Yep.
and I seen that.
You need
So
this
I
to
did
get to
notice that.
222. You said
Yeah,
HYMC. So right now, what it's after hours, it's gone up 21 cents. So it closed the day at 152, and right now it's 173. So if we look at that, it has a resistance level right here, a light resistance level at about 175, in my opinion. I could lower that probably.
yeah, it does. It
174-ish.
does.
And then it'll find stronger resistance at $1.85. But
What was the volume on it? Total.
Like,
331 million. Average is
Oh, yeah, it's
20, and the
definitely
float
moving
is
tomorrow.
59. Yeah, the fucking float is 59 million. Like
It's moving. It's moving tomorrow.
I have
for
a little
sure.
sheet here of things that Bentley says that I keep in mind, and one of them is if the volume is higher than the float size, it's going to move.
Yep.
Yeah, because today it was extremely shorted. But how do you guys check? I think this is one of the things that I gotta take a look at more. How do you know if the shorts covered um before the day ended? Like I know you can take a look at specific reports, but I guess I haven't really explored that side of trading.
I think it shows it on level 2, and then also like your short interest. So like on E-Trade, I could see if the short interest goes down.
Okay,
So they are covering.
because I'm gonna need to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I'm hoping tomorrow, just like at least if it gets to 222, I'll recover my money and I'll be happy. Um,
If it runs and gets close to it, consider just selling anyway and taking a much smaller loss than you would have.
exactly. That's pretty much what I want to do.
But let's say it comes up, it breaks over 175, and then breaks
At
over
least it won't be
185.
it won't be considered a day trade for you because you held it for a day.
If you look right here, this 193, 195-ish range, if it breaks over that, it's got a pretty clean space to move up to 220. You could probably get out for 220 if it has like just a few legs up throughout the morning.
yeah,
It just has to be bullish. If it's bullish, you can probably reach your target. If
yeah.
not, take
Otherwise,
any
I
little
mean, I'm
run you can
probably just
get.
gonna just gonna hold it and just average down whenever I can.
Well, again, not financial advice, just playing devil's advocate. One thing that Bentley said to me the other day that stuck out, or he said to all of us that I heard that stuck out to me was one thing that I see. He said, I forget the guy's name. He's like, the guy's the best day trader in the world statistically, but I think I'm better than he is. And one thing that he does that I'll never do is just keep averaging down. He just keeps putting money into these plays. And he said, I'll never do that. If I start to lose, I'm out. And I'm like, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. That's his way of trading. So everybody has their own style, but that's a point of view that he would have brought if he were here.
Yeah, I, I get that. I get that. It's just that I feel like my position size is not as big, so I can average down
Right. You're right.
and
You're right. If you have a real small size and you can get a nice good chunk and get a nice move down in your average, then it's probably worth it, in my opinion.
yeah, so that's probably what I'm gonna look into and see what happens. But tomorrow, hopefully, it will keep that momentum that it carried like at the end of the day. And I mean, it seems like it's gonna get a pretty good chunk of volume since it's something that has been doing. So
That's why if I have
we'll
a
see.
great average on a stock, let's say I buy 500 shares of something for 50 cents and it gets pumped up to $5, I'll sell 450 of them and I'll hold the rest until it drops all the way back down to 70 cents, then buy some more. And I'm already
Yeah,
winning. I already have a better average than whatever it's at. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I always like to keep a core. If I buy 1,000 shares, I'm gonna hold 100, and as long as I have a good average and play the stock, play the chart. If I think it's gonna drop below whatever my average is, get out. But if not, I'll buy whatever I think the low is and be lower than the low. That's how you just
that's
stay
kind of like
under a trade the whole time.
yeah, that's kind of what I did with Mulan today. Because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sell like 600 and keep the 200 in, and then
Right.
buy the dip, and that's what I did. I bought 200 more, so now I have 400, and I'm just gonna keep
Smart.
continue
Keep
to.
your average nice and low,
Yep.
and then if it starts to drop down, because the beauty of doing that is if I buy a trade right now for $1 and it immediately drops to 98 cents, I'm already losing. And now I have to make a choice. Am I going to hold this? Like, is it going to go back up? But if I buy something for $1 and I already have some at 70 cents and I buy some more and my new average is 90, but it's at $1 and it starts dropping, I'm in the money. You're in control of the trade from the moment you enter it. So you can set a stop loss and never lose a dime as long as you trade it one time successfully and keep a core. Then you're in it. Then you're in control of the trade. You have nothing to worry about as long as you pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's what I like about my position with Mulan right now. So I'm happy about that. So hopefully it will be great tomorrow. Because I mean, it's been doing the same pattern. It's been going up and going down, and it has a pretty good support, like around 50. Not this one, but Mulin.
Hmm.
It has like a pretty good support, like at 57,
Oh, look at
157.
that pattern. It looks just the same.
Yeah.
So
And if
when
you
you
look,
see when you see patterns like that look identical,
it pretty much filled the gap almost.
so what does that mean, guys? What's the story? Because every chart has a story. So tell me what the story is on this. This is what
Shit was fucking
This is what Steve Gomez would sit there and to ask me. He would say, "Okay, look at this chart. Looks like it's the same exact pattern. What do you think the story is?"
Same exact pattern as what? You mean just like repeating pattern?
Yep. Look at that.
Yeah, this is. I mean, from my point of view, I don't know what exactly. So from my point of view, if I was trading this is the 5-minute chart. This is an easy stock to trade. These levels are obvious.
It's somebody with a huge following that's basically buying and selling and telling his followers what to do. Look at that.
And if you look at this very
That's
last
the
candle.
story.
The very last 5-minute candle on the day drops all the way down to $1.57, which is the low. It drops to the low again. It hit it twice in one day, but then it pulls up and closes just above this level at 160.
So that means they loaded it up
That's
for another run
This
tomorrow.
is the bottom. It's about to run in the morning, and then it's going to dump, and then it's probably going to run again.
Yeah, that's probably most likely what's gonna happen.
Yep.
That's the story. So if you could follow that to a T, and you can also investigate to see who's the one who's doing that, then you just follow their tweets and you'll be good.
This is
Just don't get caught in a knife like that one right there. There's a knife right there. Boom.
I think it's multiple people. I know Moon Market is one of them.
And he's the
Go to the
one with the
daily.
paid Discord. $5 Discord that has a lot of people in his YouTube channels. So scroll over.
To where? This is the daily. What do you want?
So you can see the sell off right there. When did the sell off start? At 3:00?
Hold on, this is 5. That was the daily.
Oh,
5-minute. Right here we have. So it's picking up. We get a little bit of sell off. This big sell off spike happened at.
That happened like at 4 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Today's the 15th. Yes. So
Yes.
this is in the middle of the night. All right. So then here's the beginning of the 15th. Big pump up, little bit of fucking dipping, and then here's the sell off at 11:45. That's Eastern time.
So they made their money from pre-market to 11:00.
Yeah. Look, and then they're done. Now it consolidates down here, and right at the end of the day, it drops to this level and picks up with this candle. So
tomorrow
it has a gap to fill. It's got to fill down to $1.35. So if it does want to fill that gap before it runs again, it could drop to $1.35 and be a great opportunity to load up some shares before a quick run.
Yeah.
Because it's got to, but that's that's if you're trading on the 5-minute, which you would be if you're day trading.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a bit of a gap to fill, and the gaps always get filled. Eventually, gaps always get filled. This is why I keep my eye on any, because it has a gap to fill up at like $8, and it's gonna eventually.
Yeah, I mean the one ADGI, that one went down big time. Like when I called it, it went from like 555 to like ADGI.
ADGI.
Yeah, it's one that we've been talking about for weeks.
Yeah, I'm just on my Webull charts instead of my TradingView charts.
Yeah, nice, all good.
I use them both now. I like them both.
Yeah.
So this one, it went to like 12, and the gap it has to fill is, I believe, around 16.
What is it on the daily? So yeah, let's see. It gap down from 32 to $4.73. Wait, we're talking about ADGI?
Yes.
Yeah, so it needs to gap up to $32.
Yeah, so I mean, Honestly, it's
And if you look, like the gaps always fill. It comes from right here. It was at a high of 42, and then this day it gapped down and dropped all the way down to $23. But if you look over the course of the next 2 weeks, it filled exactly up to that gap and just touched over it. Like the gaps always fill. Gaps always fill. There's a gap. This gapped up here, so it leaves you a gap here, and then it gapped down and never filled that gap. So there's just a big, huge gap that needs filling on this fucking chart.
yeah. I mean, the float it's a low float. No, is it
This gap
200?
filled. You see this? It's at it gets to a low of 29 for that day, and then drops down to 18. And just with this single candle, it did what it could to fill that gap, and then it gapped up again.
Because I mean, this is definitely one stock that I pay attention to because it moves fairly quickly, and
I like playing gaps. I'm getting much better at these levels. In big part thanks to Bentley and just watching him do it and reinforcing what I do.
may have to focus more on that myself.
I mean, it's really simple to find these levels. It's really just
Yeah,
all you have to do is look for where each candlestick is a rectangle, right? So at the top of every rectangle is a flat line. And so look where all those rectangles form along a flat line and then draw a line. So I see like this, bam, and then I just zoom out and see if that applies elsewhere, and it does. You can look at all these candles. They all stop at that line that I just drew. Every one of these candles almost stops on that line above it or under it. And all I did was go look over here and say, oh, these 4 candles made a line right there, and marked it. This one stops on it. This one stops on it. Like, that's a clear level. And it took me 2 seconds to find it.
So you look at the bodies and not the wick.
Yeah, I look at the wicks too, but I look at the bodies first. It really just depends on where the line is formed, because you're never going to get it perfect. There is no perfect level, but you can definitely get really close every time, right? So right there, if I look at this one, there's a wick down here, and the candle body is right here. If I move the line up, it matches with these candle bodies. But if I move it down to this wick, it also matches with these. So if it was me, I would put 2 right here, and I consider this just like a little like a channel level. But that's just how I do it, because you know what I'm saying? Like, just look at it. There's little candles that fill just that channel. So I just like to mark
yeah,
it.
I see that.
The wicks
And
go down, the wicks
and
go up. Right here, look.
honestly, that's one of the things that I saw from Bentley myself. So my charting improved based on what I saw.
Right.
So I did take a look at those levels of support and resistances, and I use that now a lot better because
And you
it
I
helps
mean,
my trading and it helps my charting like big time.
right. It's totally possible to get too crazy with it too, because I could sit here and look at this chart and zoom in on it and just be like, oh, look, there's a level right here. And I can see there's a level right here. But this isn't going to help me. Like, that's not going to help me. What I'm looking for is those key levels. That's why he always uses the word key, because you need to find where it's a definitive spot. So you want to see where things really converge. So if I look at this, I think this is a key level, because look at how many spots on just this 5-minute chart converge on that line for a while. So then you'd look for the key resistance. It's the same thing. What's that number it keeps getting to but won't go over, or if it does go over, it doesn't last long. And I would put one there where I originally put it to show that example. I think that's the key resistance level. Anything over that, I would be selling like crazy. Just me.
So stocks, is there a difference between the 5 and 15 and what you're doing there?
Yeah. And I mean, but
Which is the best?
that really all depends on how you're looking at the trade. So if you're a swing trader, if you want to swing this, you can still find the levels, but you won't want to find the levels on the 5-minute, because you're going to have a big thick orange line like this. So if you go to the daily, because you're going to swing it, then you're going to find those larger levels that it's going to get to, because you don't want to watch this stock all day long. You want to watch it, daily, because it's a swing, and you shouldn't be worried about it all day long because you've done some DD. So you can sit here and go through and find those big, strong levels and say, all right, right now it's under what I think is a key level. If it breaks over this, I'm going to buy some, and my price target's $10. And that might be lofty. You might not get to 10. You might stop here at 8 and say, you know what, I'll take profits. But if I zoom in on the 5-minute, now I don't have any levels. I have just these strong key. So if I'm day trading this, then I want to use the 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. It just depends on how long I want to be in this trade and how long I think it's going to take for it to make its move. So if I want in and out, I'm going to use the 1-minute chart. If this thing's moving, I'm going to use the 1 minute and see exactly where it's going. I'm going to buy on a dime, and I'm ready to sell in 2 minutes. But if I think it's going to take 10, 20, 30 minutes to get where it's going, I might look at the 10-minute chart and see if the levels are any different, which they might not be. But if they are, I can move them around a bit and fucking, adjust my strategy. And see how long it's going to take to get there based on how I play. And I could be totally wrong, because that's what we do. We stare at charts and think about what might happen, and then get the balls to buy it or whatever, and see if it's going to work. So these time frames are really just for you and how long you want to be in a play.
Okay, thanks.
So yeah, you can find levels on any time frame, but
yeah, so that's one of the ones I liked. Another one, I don't know if you've seen Bind, but it's like a extremely low float, and I believe it's like very
VINE.
Yes, and it's beating down like a lot, but
3
like the
million
float on it, yes.
That's low.
So I
What's the
mean,
daily
kind of
look
makes
like?
me want to just like load on it, set, forget.
Yeah, and see, also, if you're a day trader or whatever, if you're trying to trade on a certain time frame, but a chart looks like this, and you're like, I can't trade that, then don't trade on that time frame. Go to 2 minutes. If it still doesn't make sense, go to 3 minutes, and keep going until it makes sense. This stock, I wouldn't trade this right now, but just like on these time frames. But if I keep going in 30, 1 hour, it starts to make more sense. I wouldn't day trade this at all. This is definitely just a swing, because the chart only makes sense on the daily right now, where the candles actually form some kind of story and they're not just dots all over a black screen, in my opinion. And that's just another key thing about time frames, is if one of them doesn't make sense, zoom out. Because maybe that stock isn't commonly traded on that time frame, and it never makes sense due to how it moves or whatever,
Well, I mean, seems like a good one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Vine here, it's fairly new, right? When did it start? December last year?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's at 320 right now, and that's the lowest it's ever been. Well, it's at 320 right now. It's the lowest it's ever been, and it could easily pick up to $4.
Yeah, I mean, with that volume, with that float, very easily.
Yeah, I like it. I'll keep that on my list for sure. I need to get the gumption to trade again, but I'm definitely becoming more confident again with what I'm doing, and I'm gonna start trading again. I like taking a week off and just learning shit. I haven't ever done it, and it's good. It feels good.
Yeah, no, I feel like I became a better trader over the last few weeks, and I'm still trying to improve. My charting has improved like a lot, but it's just like trial and error a lot of the times, and some of the times it's just like that fear of missing out, and I feel like that's what gets everyone, not only.
So this has really helped me actually this week. The whole FOMO thing. I don't know what it is exactly that clicked with me, but like when I see you guys are playing a play or somebody calls something and I go look at it and I kind of like it, if I feel like I should buy this, I just tell myself not to. Doesn't matter how much money I'm about to make on it, don't fucking buy it. Play it, but don't put my money in it. Sit here, be excited, analyze why I'm excited, chart it out and say I'll buy right now, and then write it down, and then say I'll sell right now and see how I did. And that really helps me not FOMO, because I feel like, oh, well, if I had played it, maybe I would have won. But then again, maybe not, because maybe I put some money in it and I get emotional and I'm not thinking the same way I would have just thought. So now I have a ground to look back at on how I traded for when I do have money in there that can, help me control the way I trade. So I feel like I've really needed to just step back and like when I feel FOMO, just force myself like, no, don't play it, but don't put money in it. I'm broke. I have $0. I'm not gonna play it. You know what I mean? It's just it's all mental. If you FOMO, you will lose. Keep that in mind. If you FOMO, you
Yeah.
will lose.
And one of the things that I
You're
mean,
right.
to me as a trader is since my account is not 25K and we got that pat a day trading rule,
Yeah.
um our day trades count, or our T2 rule counts for us. So every time we make a trade, we want to make it count.
Right.
And that's why like from time to time it's so difficult like for when you make a bad decision, because you're like, okay, you know what? I just wasted my trade.
Well, see,
I
look.
either
Many people, I fell into this trap many times over the last year, and it's I won't set a stop loss because I'm afraid that if it does hit that stop loss and but then goes back up a couple cents and I should have set the stop loss a little lower, then I just use a day trade and that screws me for the whole week. But you got to think about it. Like that's why those day trades are there. Like that thought pattern of like I don't know, I don't want to waste a day trade is what stops people from using stop losses, which is what causes people to lose fucking money. So you got to remember
exactly.
those day trades will come back. You're not wasting it. If you set a stop loss and a stock drops and hits your stop loss, but then it goes back up, you didn't waste that trade. You managed risk and you used a day trade to do so, and that makes you a better trader. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Exactly.
look at it like a
And that,
waste. It's coming back next week. Your money might not.
There's always going to be another stock.
Always, every day.
You could run out of money, so
Yep. There's always going to be a stock every day.
protect your money. Get that day trade back next week.
The day trades are free.
yeah,
They come weekly.
that's true. That's true.
You know?
I've made that mistake quite a few times myself before I learned.
Yeah, and it'll teach you to set better stop losses. So if you say I'm gonna start setting stops, I'm sick of losing, and you set a stop and you're mad because you wasted a day trade, then don't not set stops. Learn to set better stops. Learn to read map those levels and set your stop below where you think it can possibly go. And then if it really goes there, it was a good stop to set because it's never been there or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you just got to think like, all right, so it's holding $4 and it's bouncing off 5 back to 4, back to 5, back to 4. My stop is 390. I'm willing to lose 10 cents on this because I don't think it's going under 4. And if it does, well, at least you set a stop because it could stop at 340 instead of 390. You know what I mean? And then if you wanted to, you could just buy right back in, use your next day trade if you really had that much conviction that it's going to go back up where you thought it was gonna. The stop loss is going to keep you from holding it back, and the thought process that you can waste a day trade is going to keep you from setting a stop loss.
Yep, and that's one of the things that I have to focus more on.
Same. I really need to set my stops better, or at all.
Yeah. So I mean that's something that, and to be honest, like my last stock picks have been successful. So like dealing with what I dealt with today, like I really beat myself up for it.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
it just happens.
I'm the same way, dude. Like over the last few months, I've lost enough money to pay rent 3 months, and that if I had just withdrawn that money and said, "Here you go, here's rent for 3 months," my family would be leagues ahead of where we are financially right now. But instead, I thought, oh, I'm gonna put it back in the market, and I lost it all, and I beat myself up about that every day. But I'm gonna get it back. It's gonna make
You
me a better
got
trader.
this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're running way over time. If anybody wants to watch the final video or has anything else to say or whatever. Char's quiet. You on the phone with your lawyer? What are you doing, Char? Making moves?
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I make moves in silence. No, I was just responding to someone in the LTNC chat. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, just continue doing your, daily routines, sticking to your rules, stick to your rules, make your rules simple for you, and continue to kill it. And please just take profits. This market is so volatile right now. It's I'm so tired.
Same.
This market's so volatile right now. It's all over the place, and you just don't know what the hell is going to happen. So make sure you're always watching the futures, watching the news while you trade. If you can't trade because you're at work, just make sure you set your trailing stop losses, so you're not, taking massive losses when you log on to your phone and you're like, oh my God. So That's it. We're going to watch the last video by JFK. It talks about peace. Please pray for the world. Please pray for Ukraine. Pray for our leaders. There's a lot of stuff happening. Putin's closing in on the Capitol little by little every single day. I think there was a bombing today of a school in the city. There's all these innocent people and children being killed. It doesn't look good. So, his goal is to take over the Capitol. Once he captures the Capitol, then it's pretty much a wrap. He got the border. So, just keep those people over there in prayer, and just pray for our world. I mean, we have a lot of people that that just live day by day, and they don't even pay attention to what's happening, and that these people wake up because I mean, it's this subject matter can be like 5-hour conversation. So I'll just keep it simple. Just pray for our leaders, pray for our world, pray for peace. And remember, let's just, we don't have to like each other. We don't have to like the Twitter trolls and stuff like that. But, let's just be respectful, because everyone has a story. Everyone goes through whatever they're going through. And there's no reason to personally attack anyone. None of you guys do that in here. I'm just speaking in general, So right. I love you guys. Let's continue to kill it. And I'll see you guys in the morning when I wake up.
Killing it. Press and play.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Every thoughtful citizen who despairs of war and wishes to bring peace should begin by looking inward, by examining his own attitude towards the possibilities of peace. Too many of us think it is impossible. Too many think it is unreal. But that is a dangerous, defeatist belief. It leads to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. We need not accept that view. Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man, and man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again. Surely the opening vistas of space promise high costs and hardships, as well as high reward. So it is not surprising that some would have us stay where we are a little longer, to rest, to wait. But this city of Houston, this state of Texas, this country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them. This country was conquered by those who move forward, and so will space. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting. The flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
There's only one word to describe the picture here, and that's grief.
What was it that moved this nation so much?
It's youth, grace, beauty, hope, promise. As history goes on, it will stay a very prominent part of its history. It's never going to fade. It is never going to fade.
Let's take that message with us even today. JFK, God bless his soul. All right, guys, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you.